All right, so have you ever really thought about how your food makes it from the farm to your table? Warmer temperatures and more extreme storms are adding to the list of challenges for our farmers.
Meteorologist and climate specialist Elisa Raffa takes us to a farm where innovation is quite literally in the DNA of their vegetables.
It was so cool. I learned so much at my trip at Wild Hope Farms in Chester, South Carolina. On 12 acres of that land, they grow more than 50 different types of produce. But what's even more impressive than that variety is the focus on community and climate resilience. Their farming practices are beyond organic. The USDA calls it regenerative farming. There's no-till, diverse and covered crops, and that all keeps that soil healthy and the carbon from escaping from the ground. Well, why is that so important? Well, I learned that the EPA found that 10% of our greenhouse gas emissions come from agriculture nationwide. But when you zero in on methane, that's the most potent heat trapper, farming is responsible for 36% of those emissions. And in North Carolina, that number is nearly half. Here's Taylor Holdenbeck. He's the Grower Services Coordinator at Happy Dirt.
We want to keep pushing that envelope, and with climate change happening, we really want to see how farms can be instrumental with helping either slow that process or just not adding to it more and more.
All right, so you got to spend a lot of time out there on the farm. What was the most unique thing that you found that the farm does to stay resilient?
I really loved learning about their squash. So they're trying out this new squash that's literally climate resilient. It's a mix of Seminole pumpkin and a Walton butternut, and they bred it. And since they bred it in the Southeast in Virginia, they did it a couple of years ago. Edmund Frost is the one credited with doing that. It's more heat resistant and it's more pest resistant. There's types of squash that really can't handle the heat of the Southeast. So they were trying out this squash to see if we can get higher yields of it. They were expecting like 3,500 pounds of it. It wound up being a lower yield this year, but they're going to try it again next year. So really interesting to see that they're literally trying to get resilience into the DNA. I've covered some similar crops like that before, but yeah, really giving it a go with that squash.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to tasting something like that too. But why is it so important for farmers to pay attention to these type of innovative practices here?
It was really inspiring hearing them talk about that. These farmers are used to challenges, right? They're out there in the cold and the snow and the wind and the rain. But as we get these temperatures to warm up and the storms to be more extreme, they're really needing to be more resilient. And he said something so profound. He said it's all of us that are at stake, right? Not just the farmers that have this land and this is their livelihood, but we all want to eat, right? This is our food security. So we just need to kind of pay attention. And like I mentioned, more emissions than you might expect come from our agriculture packages. So our agriculture, the way we're doing it. So it's just really interesting and so inspiring to see them really take climate change, by the head and to be able to be resilient and be a part of the solution as well.
All right, staying on top of that, very cool with this organic food that's being processed right now or grown.
Yeah.
Lisa, thanks.
All right, and if you want to see more of that story, you can catch Elisa's full report, Beyond Organic, on Queen City News tonight at 10. You don't want to miss it. And then you can be sure to head over to QCnews.com for all of Elisa's climate reports.